Okay, one of the steps in any ethical hacking project or procedure is to do reconnaissance on the target, or they say let's do recon on this target. So reconnaissance is about finding what we are facing in this project, which means what are the domains, what are the IP address scopes or network scopes, what are the services in use, what are the emails, the technologies, whatever you can gather from your target without actively doing or sending packets or stuff. So that is called reconnaissance. As much as information as you can is gathered in the reconnaissance step from the target. So we have multiple online websites that will help us to do that, do the reconnaissance step. But in our other course, which I addressed at the beginning of this video, we have a section for reconnaissance, and there we will explore the OSINT framework with a lot of resources and tools on it, which will help us to find important aspects of our target. I mean, as much as information as possible from our target. But in here, I want to show some of the interesting queries that we can do on online sites which have a lot of information on them. So the first one, as you might have heard, is Shodan. So Shodan is a website that gathers information from the internet, especially vulnerabilities. So let me do this English. And we have, so Shodan might be known, but we have a GitHub, so github.com. I want to search in GitHub for awesome Shodan queries to demonstrate how powerful Shodan can be. So this repository, Jake Jarvis, has some of the interesting queries that is possible on Shodan. It's somehow old, about 1 year ago or something like that. Yeah, 14 months ago, but still effective. So for example, this query in here in Shodan will show you the automatic license plate readers on the internet, which you might have access to. So if I do search on this, I will find instances of this application listening on a specific port. So you see in different countries, these are in United States. So again, we have other types of queries that can be done. This one is searching for some satellites. So you see reconnaissance is information gathering. These queries can be customized to just run on your target. I mean, you will search your target for example, cameras, unprotected VNCs, for example. We can customize or direct this query to our customer. But in here, we are just generally running on the internet to see if the query has outputs. So in here, you can find unprotected VNC appliances or instances on the internet. So you see, we can just get into these VNCs as easy as that, because they are not protected with any passwords. So let me do the search. And here it is. As you see, authentication disabled on this IP address. So if I do VNC to this IP address in here, I will be on its console. I mean, I will have VNC console access, which is unauthorized right now. We don't have authorization to do login on these or VNC access on these servers. But anyway, this is just a demonstration of how powerful these online websites or big data databases can be when you want to do reconnaissance on your target or on your customer. So you see a lot of other queries are available to you. You can find the MongoDB appliances on the internet. So you see this number of databases are detected on the internet, or Mongo Express web GUIs. So imagine that you have a vulnerability on this web GUI and you want to find the instances of your customer, instances of Mongo Express, and then go for the exploitation. So this is where you go. You go to the Shodan, do your query, but you direct it to your customer's network, domain, or IP addresses. So, and you see Shodan gives you a lot of information, the IP address, the general information about it. So you see this is the address, the country is Denmark, and so we are not doing any active assessment on this target because we don't have authorization to, but Showdown will show us a lot of information in here, and we want to just demonstrate that. And this server is vulnerable because of this port right here, 5901. VNC service is vulnerable, and Showdown just detected this. So you are not authorized to do any VNC connection to this target, but I just wanted to demonstrate how dangerous this can be. So you want to find Docker APIs, Android devices, Cisco Smart Install. So I remember there's a vulnerability on a Smart Install of Cisco. So if I search for this, let's see, I think there's an exploit for it or a vulnerability for it. So a Smart Install exploitation tool. You see there's a tool for it, Cisco Smart Install. So imagine that you're doing assessment on your customer and they want to see if their Cisco devices are vulnerable. This is one of the queries you do right here. So I can also query that. I think we have to log in because, yeah, it is limited to small number of queries if you are not logged in. But anyway, you can search for this like this and say, for example, IP.address is equal to your target address or something like that. I don't recall the query, but it's something like that. We can search for it. So a Smart Install client active, it found about 90,000 results from these countries, and the top ports are 4786 and this one. So the organizations are Korea Telecom and others. So see, these are or can be vulnerable to this specific vulnerability in here. And we can, as I told you, we can add IP, something like that, address is equal to our customer IP address. So this will be limited to our customers' IP addresses, and this is what happens when we want to do reconnaissance on our client. So for example, imagine that you want to do assessment on ExpressVPN, which is an organization that has VPN service on the internet, and they are also on Bugcrowd, so they let you find any vulnerabilities and report to them. So you want to do reconnaissance, you can search in Showdown with a lot of queries. So the next service that I wanted to tell you or show you is Google Hacking Database, so the Google itself. So we need a query database to do Google hacking, and Google hacking is just like when you do research on the Google to find information from a specific target again. So doing reconnaissance again somehow. And let's do github.com OPS disk. So this is a repo I found that there's a lot of it that I found. Google Dorks. It is called Google Dorks. So let's go to Google here, and these queries are called Google Dorks. What is the address? This one. So see, passive Google Dork, or let's say passive reconnaissance, of course. The dorks are in here. So see, for various kinds of queries we have dorks in here. Also in ExploitDB we have a part called GHDB, which is for, yeah, it is right here, Google Hacking Database, which is for doing dorks on Google. So again, you can customize these queries to your customer and do the reconnaissance with it. So for example, let's see, network or vulnerability data, sensitive directories, dorks. You see, all these dorks are for finding sensitive directories. We can customize, or we can, let's say, script these dorks and direct them to our customer, something like that. You see, all these can show you vulnerable services or stuff like that too. Let me just browse one of them. So you see, authorized keys are just accessible on this specific service, which we are not authorized to access. So for that reason, I just closed this one. Always try to stay legal. Here we just want to show that Google dorks are powerful. They can do queries for you. So you see, authorized keys again, and we are not again authorized to access. But in here on ExploitDB, which contains a lot of exploits, articles and stuff like that, you can do Google hacking searches. So for example, here I want to search for SMB. So here, file containing juicy information. I can open this dork. It will have explanations and stuff. But let's say passwords. I want dorks with passwords. So Excel files on the internet with password.xls name on it. So it says the dork is this. The description is the Google dork lists out sensitive information. So again, don't run this on the internet. You are not authorized to do that. Just you have to direct this, for example, on your customer in URL customer.com, something like that, if you're authorized to test customer.com. So I'm just showing you how to do these reconnaissance on your target. So this is all passive, and by passive we mean we don't directly work with our client, work with our target. So let's see if any password files are accessible. There might be. So there might be a file on this page or something on this page. We had an SMB. There are SMB configuration files, including information about the network, trust relationships. So this is the dork that you should use. Let us do that. Let's go in Google. So you can also use this GitHub. It has a lot of cool dorks, but ExploitDB is much more complete. Let's see. Yeah, we got the SMB conf of this server. Again, SMB conf of another server here. So I think it is proved that how much powerful GHDB can be, or Google Hacking Database. So again, search for whatever juicy information you want. It's about, let's say, wow, a lot of pages. You can customize your dorks as a penetration tester or ethical hacker, and again you can script them. So whatever, because customers are a lot, you will have banks, financial institutions, insurance companies, even sometimes governmental organizations and stuff. So you can customize your scripts and dorks or recon tools, and then whatever customer brings in the targets or domains and IP addresses, you can run all those queries for those customers. So I hope this makes sense.